We have the pleasure of welcoming Katrina Collier today to our interview series Leaders Hum. I'm Aishwarya Jain from the peopleHum team. Before we begin, just a quick introduction of what peopleHum is. peopleHum is an end-to-end, one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work with AI and automation technologies. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives upwards of 15,000 visitors and publish around 8 interviews with well-known names globally every month. And now for our guest, Katrina. Katrina is a keynote speaker in the field of hiring, well known for her book, The Robot-Proof Recruiter. She is also the co-host of the Social Recruiting Show podcast and facilitator for the Searchologist. Besides being a lover of HR, she has also taken up roles as a business mentor and a product advisor, helping organizations get free from the blockages in recruiting and hiring. We welcome Katrina Collier to our interview series. Welcome, Katrina.
Hi, thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, let me begin with the first question. If you could tell us a little bit more about the concept of the robot recruiter.
Yeah, so I am very proud to be the author of the Robot Proof Recruiter. I was actually approached by the publisher Kogan Page to write a book, and the first thing that sprung to mind was I want to write a book which is all about putting the human first, getting recruiters away from thinking that tools can do every part of the job, and just demystifying it, showing how to use technology to create a better engagement with people so that they recruit people better. I think there's been a lot of hiding behind technology and not doing as good a job as they could. So it basically goes through the entire recruitment process, and it's way bigger than you think, because it's really about like how you're even presenting yourself online, right through to company reputation, how you treat people through the recruitment process, through employee experience and out the other side, because all of that impacts talent acquisition now. So yes, it's just human first. It's the best way to describe it.
Right, that's wonderful. And what do you think is the most important skill or skills that recruiters should have for talent acquisition strategies?
Obviously, that's a really huge question because it could be so many different skills. But the ones that I think are lacking these days, which really need to develop, are those things that make us uniquely human: our adaptability, our curiosity, our empathy and compassion, our persuasive skills, those kinds of things that really, really need to be developed. Because it's not just enough for me to find you and talk to you about a job. Now it's like there's so much more involved, and it's really being able to put yourself in the situation of the candidate and to really understand their needs, because they have so much choice now to persuade them to come to your organization. So it's a much bigger job than it used to be. It used to be, I found you, I just talked to you, come work for me. But now it's like I'm up against the noise of the internet and how people are perceiving you and the company. So it's much more important that I'm developing those really human skills, so I stand out from the noise really that the internet has created. I mean, you think about your normal day where you're constantly interrupted. So if a recruiter's trying to get your attention and to talk to you about a job, you're just like, oh, enough. So it's those really human skills that I think if recruiters develop them, then they're going to really stand out.
And is it true that, candidate engagement is a very important part of the entire process? And how do you make this better for the candidate?
It's not a case of, well, I found you on LinkedIn and I sent you an email and you just replied. I mean, it's just not going to happen these days. Even with what's going on now in certain sectors, there are still going to be big problems. So healthcare sector, still in technology, there's still going to be a shortage of people. And people have so much more choice. So candidate engagement, again, is about not just the finding, because it could be, people hear about an opportunity at your company and they're looking at you and how you treat your customers, your employees, and your candidates before they get in touch with you. It's like a big, there's lots of places they can go and look at people. So you've got to be able to get someone's attention and hold their attention and pull them through the recruitment process. And that includes stopping them from ghosting out of the process. So, it's like in a relationship where people just disappear. they're doing that in the recruitment process. So if you're not focused on keeping them engaged and informed and giving them clarity and certainty all the way through the process, they'll just drop out. So more human.
Absolutely. And even I think after, you reject the candidate, after that too, you have to kind of engage with them and give them the reason of, why you didn't offer them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think right now, while we've got COVID-19 as well, it's going to be very telling how you reject your staff, your current staff, you let them go. How you treat them in this process is going to be impacting future recruitment, and how you treat candidates, how you reject them, how you say, look, I'm really sorry you weren't right. Potentially you're missing being able to hook them later. So if they're like that second place candidate who you may actually want to pick up in 6 months' time, if you don't do it right, you won't be able to. But it's their ability to go online and to talk about you. And, you know what we're like. If we're disgruntled, we go online and we talk and we get people's attention. I have a problem getting something done. I'll go to Twitter to get attention from that company. It's the same thing. So, yeah, absolutely. All of it. I mean, to me, it literally is from how you treat your customers and your employees and your candidates. All of that impacts hiring, including that important, giving them feedback. Plus, there's also that element of you're paying them for their time that they've spent on your premises interviewing. And that one thing that you give them, that could set them up for an amazing job just by giving them that crucial thing. Oh, you weren't explaining this quite as well as you could have. And then they go in and they do it better and they get another job. You could change someone's life. So very important.
Right. And when a candidate enters, any building, any corporate building, what is the first impression that they should get from that corporate building?
So I did some facilitation with a company recently. So we're sort of working with the hiring managers there to get them to treat people better and make recruitment better. A common problem with a lot of HR and recruiters. So I walked in to the physical building. One, I could walk in. There were no steps to stop me if perhaps I was disabled. But I was greeted so brilliantly by the receptionist. And I was treated so kindly. And we even had a joke about like the seat in the lobby wasn't really good. If you sat in it, there was no way to elegantly stand up. So if you're about to interview, you're sort of thinking, well, I better not sit because I'm never going to be able to get up without making a shocking impression, because it was just the design of the seat. It looked funky, but it was like I wasn't sitting in it. So it's like, yes, that matters. But what I was really talking about, online impression, because companies, that exact same company, their online reputation doesn't match what it's actually like working there. I could see that they all got on and they had a really good time and they helped each other and supported each other. None of that was showing online. In fact, it was showing that they don't look like the candidates. So sometimes the impression online isn't correct either. So things that need to be worked through.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know first impression that you get, when you see them on Twitter or when you see their profile, they might be very different in person.
Yeah, they can't be. So another example was the company I went to in Berlin, and everything that they showed online was exactly what they were like in person. And that's what you want. You don't want there to be a disparity, because it also gives people the opportunity to deselect. So like anybody working in healthcare at the moment, it's a really, really trying time, but it's a really difficult role. So if you are genuinely showing what it's genuinely like to work there, then people can choose that or not choose that as their career. And that actually saves you a lot of money as well. So both ways, just genuinely need to show who you are. I mean, I have an entire chapter that it's basically like, do you look like a company worth talking to? Do your hiring managers look worth talking to? It's all of that matters. Just be real.
Just be real. I mean, in a fake world, let's try to be real as much as possible. True.
I think with the really interesting thing about this COVID-19 virus is it's flattening everything. It's impacting everybody. There's not one person on this planet that this isn't touching. Well, unless they really live remotely, maybe in the middle of Australia somewhere. But it's spreading all around the world, and it's leveling, and it's giving us an opportunity to support local, to support community, to be a lot more genuine rather than the fake world. And so it's almost backing up what I'm saying, like, be real, be genuine, treat people well, treat community well. And also, I think the joyous part where there's such an opportunity for companies is everyone is now having to work remotely. So it's kind of blowing the myth that it can't be done. So going forward, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, I think once we come out of the pandemic, it's going to be really interesting how the world of, is going to change. Absolutely. Right? Well, so what I wanted to understand next was, what is your take on the automation of hiring processes? Because in an age of artificial intelligence and machine learning, is it here to stay? Is it a good thing? Or how does the human element evolve to accommodate this technology automation?
I think my concern with automation is it's possibly not being used in the right areas. So I see some brilliant examples where you've got hundreds of drivers coming to a website, and there's a chatbot on the website because they're coming whenever they want to look for jobs, because that's all that company recruits, right? It's a courier company, drivers. And it's great. So a chatbot there, brilliant, communicating, telling them whether they're going to proceed through the application or not. Can you carry boxes of this weight? No, I can't. Well, therefore, you're not going to proceed, that sort of thing. So that could be brilliant, but that's people coming. So there's some automation there. But when it comes to the finding people and the getting in touch with people, then I have my concerns. There are some AI sourcing tools which kind of worry me, because a lot of people don't know how to write their resumes. They don't know how to write their LinkedIn profile. I was talking to a head of talent acquisition this morning going, you recruit. Why haven't you got any information on your own profile? No wonder you're not getting a job. Like, how does anyone know what you do, what you've achieved? So if we've got tools trying to find those, we know what a head of talent acquisition does. I'm not convinced that the AI does. Obviously, we've also seen some concerns around biased algorithms and things like that. So I think that use it where it will give clarity and certainty. It will keep people automated through the recruitment process, keep in touch with them, make it very human. So I often talk about if you apply for a job, when you get that auto email and then any emails that follow, make it really human. Make it really like, here are my contact details. You're dealing with me, Katrina. If you don't hear from me, I get busy, guys. Chase me up. 1 in 100 applicants would chase you up. It is nowhere near the level that recruiters say it is. It's just that, make it really personal. But that's, one way to provide the clarity and certainty. But I think too often it's used in the wrong part of the recruitment process. So it has its place, but I think it takes step out of the recruitment process and maybe apply for a job at your own company and go all the way through every single step and see where you're falling down. Is there a place for automation to make that better for you, the company, and the hiring manager and the candidate? Or maybe something else needs to happen. So it's a case of like stepping it through and really picking where it goes. So it has its place. I just don't think we're there yet to be able to go, we can do it all just using technology. I'm not sure we'll ever get there, because there are still tellers in the banks, and the automatic teller machine has been around for 50 years, and that's just for taking cash out. So I don't know. This is people's lives and careers we're talking about.
So you're saying that, we're not using AI correctly. We're not using it the right way where it's supposed to be used.
I think there's an element to that. I have my concerns. We're not there yet. So I think there's a lot of buzzword bingo going on, if I'm honest. So very aware of what you guys do. So not wanting to offend, but I just have my concerns that we're just not there yet. But I think, honestly, there is so much stuff that heads of talent acquisition could do right now, or HR directors or whichever, to really check their process. And actually, once we get past the whole everyone has to work from home, we're being given a brilliant opportunity right now to actually have some breathing space, to just stop and look at all of that. What can we do better? How can we treat people better? How can we treat community better? And we can do that by just stepping through the recruitment process from beginning to end. Half of the people I talk to have never even applied for a job on their own website. They don't even know what goes on. They don't know what gets sent to candidates. They don't know how, whether there's any reminders to keep in touch with them or anything. They don't understand it. It's quite fascinating. I guess we're all just too busy.
Is this a problem of awareness? Is it that recruiters are not aware of all these things, or what is it?
I think it's very hard to be aware of it all. There is just such a plethora. I mean, I found that research in the book. There's just so much choice out there. And you go to like one of the big HR tech events, and it's just so many vendors doing so many different things. And it's very easy to pick the wrong piece of technology, to not really step back and look and go, is this technology developed by, so we're talking recruitment specifically, by a recruiter or with the input of recruiters? Is it actually going to free up my time so I can deliver a better experience to the candidate and to the hiring manager and to the recruiter? Like, I don't think they're asking those questions. It's very easy to go, oh, look at that. That's really exciting. I'll buy that. So I think it's just, there is a lot out there. As you know, you're in that space with peopleHum. There's a lot. So it can be very difficult to know what to buy.
How can organizations improve candidate experience and engagement?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest problems that companies have is that they forget that it's not just the recruiter's job. So if they have an in-house recruitment team, which not all companies have, but if they do, it is not just their job. Now, because of the fact that people can go to the internet and go and look at how you treat people on all of these sites, and not just, the one that everyone thinks of, lots of places, it could be on social media, it could be anywhere. It really is about how the recruiter treats them, the hiring manager treats them, HR treats them, the receptionist, anybody they meet in the team. Literally everybody is making an impression on that candidate. And if they are somebody with skills that are in demand, they don't have to tolerate any of it. But where especially, and where I talk about I want to free blockages, is where the Passover happens. So I get your attention, I get you into the recruitment process, we go through the hiring process, you have your interviews, I'm still in touch with you as a recruiter. And then we get to offer. You accept the offer, I'm then passing you to hiring manager and HR. Because hiring manager has to get you ready for your first day, and HR needs to do all the paperwork and all that kind of stuff. They need to. That's where the drop off, making sure that all of that takes place. And that's where I think technology can be really amazing, from the pre-boarding through that onboarding period, and actually through the first few months. And a recruiter needs to stay in touch, but they need to do it in partnership with their hiring managers. Those managers need to understand that, keeping in touch with someone before they start is really, really important, because people aren't turning up on day one because they feel like they can. It used to be, my generation, because I'm that bit older, you did turn up on day one. You didn't risk your reputation. Now they're like, meh, whatever. They haven't been in touch with me. They gave me a contract. It's 4 weeks later, I'll start another job. They feel like they can do that. They feel very empowered. And I'm not convinced, even with what's going on now, even though we are going to hit a recession and there will be job losses, there won't be job losses to everybody. There are still going to be skills that are in high demand, and those people will still have their pick. So it is incredibly important that you have a smooth process, that everybody feels they know their part. There's clear communication between those parties to make sure that the human coming through the process starts and stays, actually, as well. So very important. To me, that's an easy one to fix as well. Just, again, you just need to step out of the process and look at it and go, where are we going wrong? What do we need to fix? How can we fix it? Half the time they're not difficult fixes. Half the time they're not even expensive fixes. It's just having the awareness.
Right. So just like taking a step back and looking at what you're doing and thinking it through.
Yeah.
Fixing all the problems. Right.
Yeah. Just clear the speed humps. Free it up. Just make it easy for people. It's just, you think about how easy it is to look for something online and to purchase it and step it through. Okay, I know I'm comparing, but shopping had to change. It used to be you drove to a store and you went in the store and you looked around, and then you went in another store. Now we just sit here at the end of our fingers. We've got used to that pick up the phone, do anything. I can do my banking using my phone and my Face ID, and it's like so many things are easy except recruitment. And it's really funny because you're probably in this hole right now. We're all stuck at home, aren't we? Locked down. That whole, how do I interview? And we're interviewing now. we in on the marketing side of, I've had at the social recruiting show for years. It's been a video chat.
I see. Wow. And as an organization, What are the important aspects of creating a talent brand in the market, and what should organizations focus on while they're creating that talent brand?
Really taking into, it used to be, it's not, it's all the same, and it has to be genuine. People want to see behind the scenes. They want to know what it's really like. And actually, I think your customers almost do as well. I mean, certainly so many of my customers end up becoming friends, or they know about my dogs, or they see behind the scenes on Instagram, for example. So it's that keeping it, I cannot stress it enough, real. People love peer-to-peer content. So hearing from, they're going for a data scientist job, they want to hear from other data scientists. They're going for a nurse, they want to hear from the nurse boards. It's like, what is genuine about that company? And that's what people really want. I'm sure that some of the employer brand people would be horrified that I'm simplifying it to that point, but I just think the content that we really love that's online. So, for example, I've been blessed, the one that's going around at the moment, like we're all suddenly stuck from work from home. We've got multiple chats going on, and there's this poor girl who goes into the bathroom, right? But we can all relate to it because it's the kind of thing we're terrified of doing. And maybe you don't want to do that for your talent brand, but that kind of genuine content that's on your phone that might be a bit shaky, that just really is you and us having a conversation. This to go out, it's going to have a few mucks because the internet isn't playing, but you know what, that makes it real. We are all struggling through something right now, and it will just make it more relatable to people. So it's that, no more polished PR. You can still put some brilliant videos out, but again, they still have to be real. I want to know when I come in that door, when I've start the interview process and I physically come to your premises, that it is how you've portrayed it to be. But I just think, be aware that it's not just about review sites, it's also about like accessibility. So do you have something like Recite Me on your website so somebody with dyslexia can apply? Have you considered disabled access? Can someone actually physically come in the building in a wheelchair, or whatever it might be? So there's lots of different elements to it. And I think sometimes the focus is just on the polished PR instead of the real, genuine, this is how we are.
Right, right. I think that's what will sell coming forward. And what is your advice you have for companies that have to keep hiring in these times of fast galloping pandemic times?
What is really obvious to everybody right now is the complete utter lack of uncertainty. So if we were ever to compare a recruitment process of what one's normally like to what's going on in the world, this is the perfect time to do it. We have these leaders who actually have no idea how to stop this, how to reduce the pressure, on the hospitals and the intensive care, and they have no idea, and they're trying to lead, and really it's as clear as mud. That is a normal recruitment process, right? Let's be honest. Our candidates come in and we kind of don't keep in touch with them, and we don't provide them what they're used to getting. Like, I can pull out my phone and put in the postcode of where I want to go to, and it will show me multiple routes to get there and exactly what time I'm going to arrive. And that's what people want in the recruitment process. That's normally. Then you add in this pandemic. So it's a case of contacting and saying, I have no news for you. I haven't forgotten you. We're still recruiting this role, or we're not. Okay, you're going to have those tough calls. You deserve to have those tough calls. I have lost all my work, all being pushed back to the end of the year, but at least I know it's there at the end of the year, because my clients have told me it's the same for you. Where are you at role? And this is what we're doing. And if you have no news, you're having out how to work remotely. Can I come back to you on Friday X? And then you come back at that time and you let them know and you update people. No news is news. Like, give them something. I cannot stress enough. If you keep in touch with people and they'll start to know you more, but they'll certainly start to trust you, and they'll probably be more bought into you as a company as well, because you're just saying, I'm so sorry, I haven't got any news, but like, I haven't dropped you off my radar. I think I cannot stress that enough. People have so little certainty right now that you providing that is giving them something, just some form of little, I can control that. I know where I'm at in that process.
Yeah, it has to be a two-way communication bridge. to kind of build that trust, right? Just a last question, if you want to,
Sure.
any sound bites for our viewers.
Well, other than buying coffee of this, the royalties from this book actually go to an amazing charity called Hope for Justice and the Slave Free Alliance. So I would love it if you purchased a copy because I have donated my royalties. But I think the main thing is human first. The technology is meant to be in the supporting role, helping the human through the process. And it's meant to provide that clarity and the certainty and all those kinds of things that we crave as humans. So I think if you get that way round, you will always succeed with your recruitment.
Awesome.
I think that's it.
That's great advice. And I loved interviewing you, Katrina. Thank you so much for
Cool.
your time.
That's all right. All right.
Thank you so
Take care
much.
and stay safe, won't you?
Stay
All
safe.
right. See you. Bye.
You.
Bye.
Bye.